Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a full music visualizer using LimePulse Studio. And the nice thing is, you don't need a video editor, you don't need any design skills, and you don't need to install any complicated software. Everything is done right inside LimePulse Studio. So, all right, let's get started. Right now, we're on the LimePulse Studio homepage. And from here, you can already see some examples of what you can create with the platform. I'm going to scroll down a little bit so we can take a look at some of the templates. As you can see, there are a bunch of different styles. Some of them are more focused on the artwork, some have bigger waveforms, some use circular spectrums, and some are a little more minimal. So depending on the vibe of your song, you can just pick whatever style fits best. And of course, you're not stuck with what you see here. Once we get into the editor, we can change the artwork, the text, the colors, the waveform, the background, and pretty much the whole look. All right, I'm going to go back up now, and from here, I'm going to click Open the Studio. All right, now we're inside LimePulse Studio, and the first thing we see is this window asking us if we want to start a new project or load an existing one. Since we're starting from scratch, I'm going to click New Project. Now it's asking us to give the project a name. You can call this whatever you want. It's really just there to help you keep your projects organized. So I'm going to type in a name here and click Create Project. All right, now we're inside the actual editor. So this is basically where everything happens. In the middle, we have our main preview. This lets us see exactly what the visualizer is going to look like while we're working. And around the preview, we have all the different controls for our template, artwork, text, animation, background, and the rest of the design. And one thing I really like is that most changes show up instantly, so you can just make an adjustment and see right away if you like it or not. All right, first thing I'm going to do is pick a template, and as you can see, we can scroll through the different designs directly from inside the studio. I'm looking for something with a bit of a retro feel, and I like this one here with the vinyl record and the waveform. Obviously, right now we still have the default artwork, the default text, the default colors, and everything else, so now we can start making this actually match our song. I'm going to start with the artwork, so I'll open the artwork section here. Now, if you already have your own cover art, you can just upload it directly from your computer, but for this tutorial, I'm going to generate the artwork inside LimePulse using the AI image generator. All right, now we have a prompt box here, and this is where we can describe what we want the artwork to look like. For this track, I want something with a late-night Miami vibe, so I'm thinking of a classic car driving around 2 in the morning, shown from the back, with warm streetlights, dark roads, so I'm going to type that in here, and you can really be as descriptive as you want. You can mention the lighting, the camera angle, the mood, the environment, whatever helps explain the image you have in your head. All right, below that, we can also choose the image style. There are a few different options here. For this one, I want something more realistic and cinematic, so I'm going to pick a style that fits that look. We can also control things like the shot type, the camera and lens, and the lighting, which gives us a lot more control over how the final image is composed. I'm going to go with a medium shot, a 35mm lens, and moody lighting. All right, now I'm going to click Generate, and now we just wait for LimePulse to create the image. All right, here's the first result. It's actually pretty close to what I want. We have the car, the road, and that warm nighttime lighting. But I want to see another variation before I decide. So I'm going to generate one more. Same general idea, but let's see what it gives us this time. All right, this one looks better. I like the angle of the car, I like the lighting, and the whole image feels more cinematic. So I'm going to go with this one. I'll click Use this artwork. And there we go. Now the artwork is added directly to the visualizer, and already just changing the artwork completely changes the feel of the template. All right, before I start tuning the design, I want to add the actual song. That way I can see the animation reacting to the real track while I'm making adjustments. So I'm going to open the audio section. From here I can upload the song or load it directly from my library. Perfect, the song is loaded, and now you can see the animation reacting to the actual music. This makes it much easier to customize everything because I can see how the visualizer behaves with the real track. Now we can start tuning the design. I'm going to start with the animation. Right now, it's still using the default settings from the template. From here, I can change the color, the size, and the overall look. I'm going to change the waveform to white because it gives us a nice clean contrast against the darker background and the warm colors in the artwork. We can clearly see the movement from the music, but it's still not taking attention away from the artwork. Now let's update the text. Right now, it's still using the placeholder title from the template, so I'm going to replace that with the actual song name. For this track, I'm using 2 a.m. in Miami, and you can see it update immediately in the preview. Then underneath, we have the artist name. We can call it something like artist number 1. I'm going to keep the text white too. It works really well with the darker background and keeps everything clean and easy to read. Now let's work on the background. The background has a big effect on the overall mood, so I want it to match the artwork without becoming distracting. I'm going to keep it dark and warm so it works with the nighttime look of the cover. That gives us a nice balance between the artwork, the animation, and the rest of the layout. All right, I think that looks good. Now I'm just going to let the track play for a moment and check everything together. I'm watching the waveform react to the song, I'm checking the artwork, I'm checking the title, and I'm making sure the whole layout feels balanced. This is really the easiest way to tune the visualizer. Add your song first, let it play, and then adjust everything while you can actually see how it behaves with the music. You can keep making small changes until everything feels right. All right, I'm happy with this, so now we're ready to render. I'm going to click Render Video. And now LimePulse takes the song, the artwork, the waveform, the text, the background, and all of the customization we just made and turns everything into the final video. We can see the render progress here while it processes. And once it finishes, that's it. Our final music visualizer is ready. So yeah, that's the whole process. We started from the LimePulse homepage, opened the studio, created a new project, chose a template, generated our artwork, added the song, tuned the visualizer while the music was playing, and rendered the final video. And all of that without using a video editor, installing complicated software, or needing any design experience. All right, before we wrap this up, here's the final result. I'm going to let it play for a little bit so you can just enjoy the visualizer with the music. If you want to hear the full song, I'll leave the link in the description. And if you want to try LimePulse Studio and create your own visualizer, I'll leave the studio link down there as well. All right, enjoy the final result. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. In the morning, this